Oh, welcome back to the SF Company Hour, our weekly show here at the SF Comic Book Company YouTube channel. I am RayDoomZilla. Welcome. Oh, let me turn this damn music off. All right. Great music, my God. Oh, shit, I was supposed to fade. See, this is what happens when Rick's over here and everything's turned out of whack. So, welcome back, Francisco. Second time on the show.
Hey, good to be back. Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Such a fun experience last time. You had to come back. There you go. I love last minute guests. It was great. It was unplanned. So I'm glad when things work out. And over there on camera for the first time officially, Rick, he decided to stop being shy and getting over in the other chair. Now we get to see what he looks like and see his all his expressions. Now we don't have to stare at him now.
Yeah. You look good.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome to the show, Rick.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. Hello, world. I'm here.
And this is Rick's last time. All right, don't get used to it. All right. So welcome, issue number 6. Great intro music by Graham Gates. Appreciate that. So we got a few topics this week. It was kind of a slow week. It's Thanksgiving week, so there wasn't like too much stuff coming out, too much movie wise, show wise, but comic book wise. But we still got some stuff to talk about. So first, let's jump into this. I thought this was pretty hilarious. This E.T. Elliot reunion for Xfinity. Xfinity Comcast. So you watched this, Francisco? What did you think?
I didn't understand why it happened. Just in general, like what?
Well,
like
money for sure.
The need for it, it's not like they were. I don't know. It's just like maybe they were testing to see how audiences would respond to an E.T. sequel, like an actual E.T. sequel. Maybe they were just like, oh, well, this would be a fun thing. Either way, I just thought like the whole three. Oh, okay, so anytime I watch something, for sure, like a part of me needs to break it down logically. Like, how does this story work out, and what are the motivations? Like, it just one part in particular that kind of tripped me up was that E.T. was talking about how sad he was, or like, and how he wanted to go home, and instead of the guy who had been with E.T. before and gotten him home, he just kind of cupped E.T.'s face and was just like, well, it sucks to suck, bud, because you're here now, so deuces, and then just like dipped. And so E.T. had to again hang out with the little kids so that he could make his escape to his home from the family that he came to visit. I don't know. I thought that part was weird.
I thought it's a weird, definitely a commercial for because Universal's part of the Comcast thing. So yeah, I thought this was kind of horrible. I didn't like this at all. I thought this was just a super just cheesy cash grab. Like if they were like if they actually filmed that, and if it wasn't a commercial and they actually put some thought into it, like a short film of Elliot, and that's fine. But it just blatantly just selling Comcast. I thought this was this kind of broke my heart a little bit seeing this. I didn't like it at all. Rick, what'd you do? Oh, you loved it, didn't you?
No, well, look, it kind of. It tugged at my heartstrings a little bit.
Got you, man. They did it. They did. Yeah.
I was like, they got me in the first scene. I was like, oh, look, it's E.T. Holy shit. They came back for what? There's nothing here.
And all of E.T.'s favorite products, like Comcast,
Reese's Pieces,
Xfinity.
Oh, I mean, I'm an old school Mark, so you throw some of that stuff at me, I'm just gonna I turn into a big old softy. I'm like, oh, it's E.T. It's Elliot. Sure. It's fucking Elliot. It's Henry Thomas. So it was cool. It was cool to see it. But now that you guys put it that way, I'm like, fuck you, Xfinity.
Just like shat all over your slopes and green.
Just shattered it.
Like if it like that Jurassic Park. Speaking of which, Jurassic Park short they did a couple months ago. The Colin Trevorrow did like kind of like with the showing the world. Like if they filmed like a little mini movie and then like it's produced by for Comcast, Xfinity, whatever, that one thing. But it just so blatant. He's putting on all the products. He's like, oh, the internet. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
E.T. was pimping Xfinity.
Oh
dude.
man, hard man.
Now, like
you need another fucking addition to his house. So
I'm fairly certain
he's doing
that,
it for the money.
Like how I mentioned earlier, that it was a testing to see how audiences would respond to a sequel, because fucking Steelbirds had a treatment for a sequel to E.T. like since it came
Oh,
out,
yeah, for sure,
like
yeah.
while it was in theaters, he had a treatment for it, and I think it was called like E.T. and the Night Stalker or something like that.
I think I read
You
the
know what I'm talking
I
about?
kind of read the treatment. It was like a little more dark. It was like a little
Yeah.
more, it was a little more.
Because
he's chasing down
weirdly
serial
edgy.
killers.
Yeah, there was like
You
an
know?
evil like alien like ET or some shit, and
Yeah.
they're like hunting them down. It's kind of weird. It's definitely
I feel
not
like that would play a
An
lot better
evil
now.
E.T.?
Yeah, I think it was
can't
like some
picture
dark
the
The
evil race.
anti-E.T.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
TE.
Bizarro E.T.
He's TE. Terrestrial extra.
Yeah.
Evil terrestrial.
Yeah, it's I like seeing Elliot back and things. I like that he's got like a resurgence. He's been in a few things. He was
Sure.
in A Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Haunting of Hill House is very good.
I was
and
into that.
he shows up in Doctor Sleep.
Shows up in Gerald's game too. Mike Flanagan.
Yeah,
Was it Mike
true.
Flanagan?
Yeah, that's his dog. Yeah, so I like he's a good actor. I like him showing up and things. So he's I'm glad he had like he came back for Saving Private Ryan, then he kind of went away for a little bit.
During that time he did Saving Private Ryan. I think he also did Legends of the Fall.
That was like his
pretty
comeback,
good.
yeah. And then he kind of went away for a little bit. Then like the last few years,
He was in Psycho 4, which was fucking horrible.
Yeah. So he's kind of having a resurgence. I like it. He's a good actor, so I'm glad that he's getting some play. You know.
I just hate how well nostalgia works to sell a product.
To get you back in?
Because it works on me almost every time.
Rick.
It's so
it's one thing I can't.
infuriating.
It's
like I can't combat this because my inner child loves it so much that I need to buy it.
I like seeing E.T. like out and about, but it was just so blatant.
I feel like Pacino in Godfather 3. Every time I'm out, they pull me back in. Like fuckers.
I wouldn't be surprised you see a E.T. Movie or sequel.
Sure.
Like, you gotta we're running out of ideas, so let's remake everything. So all right, E.T. And get Xfinity now. So Crisis on Infinite Earths is coming to the CW. Right. There's the big crossover for every year they do a big crossover. I think last year was.
I don't even pay attention anymore.
Yeah, it was. I kind of only watch the crossovers now because I don't really care about those shows anymore. Sure. Flash took a major dive after the second season. So it looks like it's fun. You got Brandon Routh coming in. He's going to be Kingdom Come Superman. They got Kevin Conroy, the voice famously of Batman the Animated Series. He's going to be
Hamill.
Is Hamill coming back too?
Yeah, from what I heard, he's coming back.
Yeah, look. So who's coming in? You got a list of what characters?
I'm looking for him right now.
They're bringing in John Cryer's Lex Luthor.
Have you guys seen John Cryer's Lex Luthor?
No.
I've seen clips of it, and it's pretty decent, man.
Yeah, it's
I
better.
was fucking surprised. How
I don't know. Is it better than
menacing
Eisenberg? I don't know, man. Come on.
No, it's better than Eisenberg. It's way better than Eisenberg, but it doesn't touch. Michael Rosenbaum?
Yeah.
He's my Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
straight up.
He's pretty good. They're crossing over everything. Like famously, the comic book series Cross the Infinite Earths combined all the universes. Taken from there's a multiverse, so now it's going to be all the multiverse of the TV shows and movies and such. So we're going to get the '90s John Wesley Shipp Flash. We're going to get Smallville. Tom Welling's going to be in there. So they're kind of bringing all these properties in together and doing what they did in the comics and probably combining the universe and kind of maybe one cohesive universe, because some of the shows don't take place. Like Supergirl's on a different Earth, Black Lightning's on a different Earth. So there's
that costume is horrendous. Man.
Oh, the Black Lightning one.
Black Lightning.
He needs to go to the '70s collar.
It's so super.
It's
bad.
so bulky.
It's so bulky.
Yeah, he doesn't like. Yeah, he doesn't need.
Just kills me, man.
Crossover. Stargirl's going to be in it. She's got a new show coming out, and there's rumors the Titans show is going to cross over. Some stuff from Gotham. So basically, all these things are coming together. So, Francisco, what do you think about this? Are you interested at all at this?
Honestly, I've never been interested in the made-for-TV hero shows. They're just so corny, that I haven't been able to get into them. Is that the costume right there?
Black Lightning.
Yeah.
Okay. It just the acting has always been I know
CW acting.
exactly. Yeah. I know going into these shows that it's not going to be what I want to see.
Yeah.
I know that it's there are going to be parts of the show that aren't at all related to the comic, and I'm kind of frustrated and don't understand why they put it in there. At most, I would benefit from watching these shows is like, oh yeah, they got that right, cool.
They got one thing out of 20.
Yeah. Like, so that's why I can never get into these shows. It's always
That's a doctored up one, but pretty much kind of just bulkier than that.
Dude, you have powers. You don't need a fucking big ass fucking mech suit or anything like that. So
he's looking a bit thick.
Yeah, I watched the first couple of the Black Lightning. They were okay.
I watched 5 episodes. Nothing wrong with it. It's just it loses you when you put the suit on.
Yeah,
really.
I don't want to see a superhero who has powers wear such a bulky thing.
Sure.
Like Flash is his suit. I actually like Flash's suit.
I hate the cowl. The cowl is horrible. He looks like
which season?
The newest cowl.
The newest one?
Yeah.
I actually like
the body
one.
The suit looks good, but the cowl is horrible. It looks like a fucking blow pop. It doesn't look right at all.
Blow pop.
It does not look right. But the Arrowverse. I've never been into Arrow. It's just he's too Batman-ish for me. Like
he is Batman.
He's got a pretty solid storyline that runs into a lot of like magic and satanic, demonic. Yeah,
you've been watching it?
No, I mean like the
Green Arrow, the real Green Arrow.
Real Green Arrow.
Hashtag not my Green Arrow.
Yeah, well, like the comic series Quiver, it deals a lot more with magic than like
Kevin,
I can remember.
Kevin Smith run,
yeah.
Phil Hester, it was good. That was good.
Yeah, it was a good series.
I really like that run.
And like what I like about Arrow is just I feel like he easily slides into magic a lot more than Batman does.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Batman being the more like kind of logical scientist type is kind of like Iron Man and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
You know.
He's not brooding like Batman either. He's
more,
too brooding and like
more stark.
He's got bits, you know,
and he's more of a left wing kind of cat, and is more vocal and like not hiding in the shadows and being all moody and dark. That's Batman's job. We have a Batman. We don't need that.
No, I mean the Green Arrow is fun. He's a fun read. He's a fun character.
Snarky. He's very snarky, dude. I love that about him.
Yeah. My favorite run of Green Arrow is the Green Lantern Green Arrow. Denny O'Neil. Denny O'Neil. Neil Adams run. That's if you want a good Green Arrow story. That's
the one where Hal
Hard Traveling Heroes.
Hal wields the ring, or no?
Hal wields.
I mean, excuse me, Oliver.
Probably, yeah. I think he has the ring at some point. So it's good. It's early '70s, very political.
Who didn't get the ring at some point?
Yeah, right.
Everybody's gotten the ring at some point.
Yeah, right.
It's not Thor's hammer.
But Rick, what do you think about this, man? Are you excited about this? You gonna watch this?
I'll probably watch a few episodes just to see what's gonna go on. I mean, it's one of my favorite books, Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's just so much happens, and they're gonna try to do it in 5 episodes. Good luck with that.
You're gonna get frustrated.
Yeah, I'm gonna get super pissed, especially if they don't. It's like, the one thing I'm waiting for is, especially that, I think, is Flash their biggest series that they have right now, or it's Arrow?
Well, Arrow's about to end. I think
so it's going to be Flash.
Flash is going to be the next series. Yeah, okay, and they've been kind of hinting at Crisis since the first episode of Flash.
Kill Barry Allen.
Yeah,
kill Barry Allen. Bring in redheaded Wally West. Sorry, folks. I'm a Wally West purist. I grew up. I started reading Wally West because of Ray.
Sure.
And all the books that I read were Wally West. And then when I finally got introduced to Barry Allen, he was boring. Sorry, I found him boring. He's
drawn a hard line.
And the Wally West on the Flash show is not.
He's not milk toast.
The Wally West on the Flash show is not that great. He's not really great. Like they can't really do that. They haven't done that character justice.
At all.
Yeah. No, not at all. I'll check it out. I like the crossovers, all the little Easter eggs is probably gonna be cool. So I'll probably check it out just for that, just to see John Wesley Shipp in the old school Flash costume.
That's gonna be badass.
They've already had some footage, kind of like some screenshots and stuff. So check it out. It probably won't be great, but I'll just for the that nostalgia bug. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it gets you every time.
It's like
cool.
Freebase dopamine.
Nice. My favorite pastime.
Earth 2 dopamine, yes. So cool. We'll see. It's probably gonna suck, but we'll see. All right, next, let's talk a little bit about Mandalorian episode 4. Right, episode 4. Gina Carano was. Everybody knew from the trailer she was going to be in it, so this is her episode. She was in it. So to kind of not spoiling it, or not giving any spoilers or anything. What did you think of the episode this week?
So, I don't have Disney Plus. I've been watching The Mandalorian, but Like, I am so stoked that they are diving into more of the background history of Star Wars. Like, honestly, the kind of the not exactly the worst part, but the Star Wars universe is so much more than the movies. Honestly, if you dive into the Star Wars universe, like reading into Legends or reading into some of the other comics, or even if you played Knights of the Old Republic, you kind of like know that the Star Wars movies are kind of a little boring compared to like the vast and interesting universe that Star Wars has inside it. And a huge part of that are the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Being like this warrior mercenary at this point, kind of like culture and tribe, whereas how they started out was like a warrior race, right? And so they've always had struggles, like losing their numbers, and like people think the Mandalorians are gone, but maybe there are a couple here or there that work as mercenaries, and so they kind of like ebb and flow in their numbers, but they've always remained like integral to the story of the Star Wars universe. You know,
Mandalore is very Mandalorians are very throughout the history of I think they were the original occupants of Coruscant too, the Mandalorians, and so they got booted out.
Right.
So it's the history. Like if you watch like Clone Wars, there's a lot of great Mandalorian stuff, great like culture, and like it's great that like people are actually starting to learn about the Mandalorians, because all they knew was like Boba Fett. He has cool armor,
right?
Yeah, but not a Mandalorian, of course. So it's I'm glad. Yeah, it's a good point. They're going deep diving on Star Wars universe, and like it's fun to like go back and like this stuff like we kind of already know, but like these fans of Star Wars, like they're fans of the movies, they don't really know about the lore. It's like, oh cool, now you got all this stuff to go back and like you said, read the comics, go watch the Clone Wars, go read the books that have been coming out. So yeah, it's pretty damn good, and it's pure Star Wars. It's no fuss, no muss. It's just pure Star Wars. So overall, what do you think of this episode, Rick?
I'm disappointed in myself.
Oh, didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
What?
I missed it.
All right, we're gonna pause and watch the episode.
No, yeah, I super blanked it. Last night was Friday.
Yeah,
because it didn't feel like Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving. It felt like a Sunday. So I was just amazed. I was like, I'm off the next day. So I missed it. So first thing I do when I get home tonight is watch Mandalorian multiple times. Make sure I don't miss it again. But that's the one thing about Mandalorians, like you said though. They're super integral into every storyline in Star Wars lore. And they're, like you said, warrior race. I kind of think of them as the Trojans. The Spartans of the Star Wars universe. Super dedicated to what they do. Right. They have a code of honor. Very samurai, those guys, man. They're pretty dope. And that actually the most intriguing part is that we kind of don't know too much about them still. Yeah. So I'm excited to watch the next episode, but.
This one was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. I think.
Really?
Yeah. I think this might be her first directing thing, or she might have did something else. But yeah, this is her first. It started off slow. The episode started off slow, but it definitely the last like 15-20 minutes really kicked up a notch. I think it was pretty not my favorite episode of the season. I would probably put it last compared to all the other ones, but it's still very entertaining, still a fun episode, and it advances the story, and kind of it has some tropes from old like westerns and stuff, so it's kind of obvious where the story's going, but it's a damn good episode. I think it's a great quality TV. So
that was Bryce Dallas Howard's first official TV credit. I mean, she's done like shorts and like small episodes like for Vanity Fair, but this is her first foray.
I wonder how she got that job. Yeah. I wonder who her father is.
George Lucas?
I'm sure that's her godfather or something.
Right.
But she did a decent job for her first time directing. So it's I wish I could direct a Mandalorian episode. Yeah. If only Opie was my father, and I can get that. So yeah, good episode. I think there's 8 episodes in the season, so we're halfway there.
Halfway there.
Jeez, Are they taking a break at any time? Or are we
I
going
hope not. They haven't mentioned anything about a break, but yeah, I don't want them to take a break at episode 7 and just start repeating.
Yeah, let's wait 2 months. Yeah, that's what they're doing with Crisis 2. They're like the first 2 or 3 episodes, then they're taking like a month and a half off, then finishing them.
Man.
So that's kind of annoying.
Thanks a lot, WB. Once again, you failed us with comic books.
You failed us again.
Standard.
So, all right, cool. So next, kind of want to talk about this footage I got put out there. David Hayter was in about 2003, 2004 was going to direct the Watchmen movie before Zack Snyder.
Damn it. You're about to make Scott Snyder?
I know. I would, every time, man. It's take a shot every time I say Scott Snyder instead of Zack Snyder. So David Hayter filmed some footage. Pretty much the scene where Rorschach breaks into Night Owl's house and they have a little discussion. So it's Ian Glenn as Night Owl and Ray Stevenson as Rorschach, which is really kind of jarring. But it's interesting to see what the kind of where it would have went. It kind of looks like a Showtime movie version of Watchmen. So it's not the best test footage, and yeah, what do you think about this?
Well,
Francisco?
it just it immediately struck me as this could either be like a Lifetime original series movie or pornography. Like they're either gonna start talking about what the neighbors are up to, or like they're whipping out their dicks. Like either way, because it seems so like empty, and it's just kind of like, oh yes, quite. Well, first of all, Rorschach has like a very eloquent English accent and is very proper and is very tame and
human bean juice.
Yeah, it's just like, I was just helping myself to a kind of things, and it's super weird. It's not Rorschach, and he's like fucking huge and tall, and if you know the character, he's this like feisty little fuck you up dude with like a gritty fucking attitude, and like this super tall, super proper Rorschach was just all sorts of wrong. Hit the ear wrong, hit the eyes wrong, and well, I mean, so not only that, but Jorah Mormont, the
Ian Glenn,
Ian Glenn, that's right. I liked him for Night Owl. So Ian Glenn is in the test footage as Night Owl, and I like him for Night Owl. It's kind of a shame that didn't happen. I think.
He had the look right. Yeah, he definitely had the look right. Just,
doesn't he play Bruce Wayne in Titans? I think he's in that.
Does he?
Yeah, he plays like the older Bruce Wayne.
He plays like the older Bruce Wayne version of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I'm sold on.
I haven't got to that point yet. I'm still working on Titans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't overdo yourself.
Like, hey man,
take it easy. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's too much comic.
Right.
Rick, what'd you think of this?
Okay, so like you said, he said a Lifetime movie. Shit, it did feel like it was like probably like an early FX movie. Like that's why I asked you what year did this happen in 2003. It didn't look like a 2003. It looked like it was shot in the 90s. This is pre-Spawn. Yeah. So it just didn't capture the feel.
Right.
Yeah, it was like the sequel to The Phantom.
Right.
It was didn't feel. Yeah.
It just didn't feel it. Like you said, Rorschach is supposed to be a feisty little guy. Me, I like Jackie Earl Haley, so you know what? Hashtag not my Rorschach.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, it was Hader was the voice of who's the voice? Oh, wasn't he the voice of Solid Snake?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the voice of Solid Snake in the Metal Gear games.
Metal Gear series.
I think it was the voice of Wolverine.
He's done like a few games. He was in Dragon Age Inquisition.
And what did he direct? He directed some like this would have been his first directing. All right, he's a writer too.
He's done Chasm and he's done 2014 Wolves. That was his directorial debut. Okay. Chasm was a short film.
So So what year was that?
2014.
So there's
a reason.
So I don't think this test footage helped his career.
He was King Shark in Flash though.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. All right.
So it's that's probably he's making Zack Snyder look like a genius. So
no, he really did.
So interesting. So on the Watchmen subject. We be watching the Watchmen. This week's episode, episode 6, I believe.
6.
Very, very damn good episode.
Great episode.
I think probably the best of the season. Every episode's been progressively better.
Mm-hmm.
So this episode can't really spoil too much, but they kind of dive into an origin of a character. It's shot very well. It was very good. A lot of good transitions. Very deep story, very dark story. Francisco, what do you think of this?
Right off the
episode?
bat, I love that we're getting answers.
Yeah.
You know, like, the whole series, I'm like, okay, that's an answer, but not really, because now I have, like, 600 more questions. And, like, coming from the creator of Lost, and, you know...
that fits.
Yeah, like, it's like, okay, sure, like, great, awesome, mysteries, fantastic, cool, but also resolution, you know? Like, fucking having some solid knowledge about a character, which now we have, and it's just so satisfying.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I thought it was super interesting the way the story went. I thought the acting inside that was really great. I also thought, like, plenty of times, typical, you know, just kind of relating to the character. Anytime you kind of get sucked in, relate to a character, and sort of bond with that character from what you're watching, you know you're watching something good. And anything that kind of can anything that makes you feel is like a form of art that you know that you can appreciate. And this show is that, you know. This latest episode I thought was incredibly well done, and honestly, really if you haven't seen it, watch the whole series and catch up to this point. I can't get enough of this show.
The way it's going. This might be the best superhero show ever produced, because it's pretty damn dense. Right. It's pretty well made. Everything's thought out, just like the original Watchmen comic. Everything's planned. Everything's not. There's no like wasted space in this series. Everything's very meticulous, which I really dig. Rick, you finally caught up to everything?
Yeah, we finally caught up. He caught me up. So this show's really badass. If you guys aren't watching it, or if you guys started watching it and it wasn't what you guys expected it to be, don't just drop it because of that. Stick with this show. This show deals with a lot of issues that and they're ugly issues. We don't want to look at them, you know? And sometimes, like my favorite character, Looking Glass, you look at the guy, you're forced to see yourself in the mirror, and you're gonna have to take into effect whatever social issues that is happening in the show. You have to see how that affects you personally, and it's very thought-provoking, this show. I've heard that this show is losing a lot of viewers, which to me, it sucks. It's like declining in viewership, which scares me, because it's just people. It's the climate that we live in, you know. Of course,
I don't need my politics in my comic books.
Exactly, I don't want my politics in my comic books. But it's like,
if you're a fan of this series, how could you fucking?
Did you read Watchmen? Exactly. It's just, dude.
It's all politics.
This show is all politics.
Whatever.
And I guess people just want superheroes and powers and shit. You know what? Sometimes the fucking world isn't like that. It's fucking like the world of Watchmen, and it's fucking dirty and seedy and disgusting. But we have to take a look.
For you.
It's an awesome fucking show, man.
It's a really
good show. I don't want to put too much in that, like episode 6, but every origins are awesome.
The origins have been really good. Like they're really explaining this new crop. It's every episode is well directed. The music's great.
I love the music.
The Trent Reznor Atticus scores. I'm getting that soundtrack when it comes out. It's so good, so good. You feel like you're in a Carpenter movie every time a scene breaks down, or a little quiet moment, just that music, that synth music just comes in. It's like, this is great. I love it. It's a great show. Yeah, if you're not watching this show, like, you got to watch it. Like, even if you don't have you don't want to read the comic, you watch if you saw the Zack Snyder movie, it covers a lot of the bases. There's definitely some differences, and from the comic into the. You can watch videos on that, but you should definitely check it out. Don't be scared of Watchmen. Don't be hashtag my Watchmen. So don't be watch Watchmen. Damn it,
Watch Watchmen.
Watch Watchmen.
You be watching the Watchmen.
Yeah, and then I think we're gonna do like when the season's over, we'll do like a full on spoiler review, like a little special episode. We'll have you back for that one.
Damn right.
Your knowledge of the comic and movie is very helpful. So yeah, it's good. It's a good show. Watch it Sundays on HBO. Still your friend's HBO. You'll be able to figure it out. Cool. So thanks, Mom. So some good talk. Like I said, not a bunch of topics, but some interesting stuff this week. So now we're gonna go on to our pull list. Pull list is pretty much our weekly what we picked up in the recent weeks, good or bad. It could have been a movie you saw, it could be a comic you picked up, a toy you bought, a band you listened to, just whatever floats your boat, pretty much. Good or bad. Rick, I'm gonna start with you since you're over at the big boys table.
So first thing that I want to mention, we just talked about it. Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. I've been listening to all the whole soundtrack for Watchmen. Yeah, it slaps.
It's not out yet, right?
No, it's not, but it's on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
And they have like 3 different volumes of it already. The music is simply amazing. They have small little quotes, little snippets from the actual show when they're talking about the trigger warnings. The music is definitely influenced heavily by Trent. I mean, you listen to this music and you think you're listening to Nine Inch Nails, like some kind of lost album, and I really can't get enough of this album. The music was one of the first things I heard about. I was like, oh shit, Trent Reznor's doing it. Last thing I remember him doing, was Seven for me. I remember him doing Seven, and he's done a lot more in this one than he did in Seven, I think. In Seven, he was just using like 9 Inch Nail beats and tracks. But in this, they're coming up with original works, and it sounds amazing. I can't wait to see if Trent Reznor actually does film scores.
Well, he does. He did Social Network.
That was it, right?
Yeah, and he did
that's funny. David Fincher.
Yeah, a girl with the dragon tattoo. Fincher's version. Yeah,
I gotta pick up those.
Yeah, he did a version of. He did. Was it in the beginning of the film? He did what cover did? I think he did. Was it Zeppelin? He did a Zeppelin cover for the opening credits. Yeah.
I definitely got to listen to that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I love his Social Network score. I love that. That score is so amazing.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's really underrated.
All right, I'm gonna have to definitely check that out.
It's very methodical and very the pacing and the way it builds is really good. So yeah, check that out for sure.
So the second one is, if you guys got Hulu, Castle Rock. This second season of Castle Rock has definitely got me. I'm a horror fan, Stephen King mark. Without revealing anything or too much, it just deals with Annie Wilkes. You get a little bit of Stand By Me in there.
Salem's Lot.
Yeah, Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
A little bit of Shawshank. Just by the opening, I'm wondering. I haven't seen it just yet. But I'm wondering if they're going to do with it. Because they mentioned Derry at one point.
Derry's been mentioned on the map. So basically Castle Rock is like the
an anthology. Everybody, like it's the Marvel-verse for Stephen King almost.
There's been books written. I have a book about how all the Stephen King movies are kind of intertwined. There's characters that cross over and like kind of from one book to the other, little characters here and there, and like set in the same kind of area of Castle Rock. So it's an anthology series. The first season was kind of more Shawshank and what was the other one?
It had Alan Pangborn.
Yeah, Needful Things and stuff. So, and this season they're like Misery, like Rick said, Misery, Stand By Me. What was the other one? Salem's Lot. So it's kind of like combining the world of Stephen King and kind of mixing it together. All these characters from different Stephen King.
They interact, which is awesome. Man.
Yeah, and I think this season is like kind of like the first season I liked a lot. This season is
standing out.
This season, Lizzie Kaplan has Annie Wilkes is amazing. She should get an award because there's one episode that she just, oh my God, I've never TV acting at its best. So
really?
yeah, she's really good.
She's great.
Yeah, she's really good. She needs to win awesome. some kind of award because she's killing it. Even Kathy Bates has come out recently praising her. Like this is awesome. Wow. She's like awesome. So again, praise from Kathy Bates who famously played.
And and Kathy Bates is a great actress herself.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. Yeah. She's always awesome in stuff she's in. It's a good show, Castle Rock.
How does Dark Tower
See, that's the thing. I think that the Dark Tower is probably going to be at the core of everything. That's why they're all here still. I think they've touched on it little, just in small doses, but we haven't got it just yet.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna wait. I'm excited with the show.
The big part of Dark Tower too is like it's kind of like the multiverse and like kind of dealing
the
with
Dark Tower connects it all.
Yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's a TV show coming out for Dark Tower too.
Wow.
So yeah, I still haven't seen that. I still haven't seen that movie, the Dark Tower one.
I did watch it.
Yeah.
Is it worth watching?
No.
I heard they.
What's name is great.
I heard
Elba's fucking amazing.
Oh, I love me some Idris.
And,
what had me worried about that is they cut it down to an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and that book is so dense and
it
so.
Should be that should be your Lord of the Rings. For,
yeah, and that was a plan. They were going to do a movie, TV show, and TV show, and like kind of connect everything.
Studios get
yeah,
scared.
and it's a big It's a very epic storyline.
Right.
Yeah, so it's yeah, I know. I was bummed when I heard about that. I was so excited about Dark Tower, and then,
Dark Tower is such an awesome storyline too. Roland's one of the greatest.
How many books is it?
Holy shit!
It's like 10 books or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking to say 8, but then I think he did 2 more, like the earlier life of Roland, or like the later.
The Gunslinger.
Right. The Gunslinger is an awesome character.
Yeah. Who's
McConaughey?
McConaughey was.
You know what?
I
was disappointed, man.
In McConaughey?
In McConaughey, I
see,
was.
Man, come on, man. How you gonna get McConaughey for Randall Flagg and blow that, man?
And blow it, yeah. Because he wasn't Randall Flagg. He was the Man in Black.
Yeah, but it's Randall Flagg.
It is Randall Flagg, but he didn't really play Flagg. Like, Flagg is to me the guy from The Stand. Martin Broadcloak, the Man in Black, that's the guy from The Tower. They're all the same person.
Sure.
But
the devil takes many disguises.
Yeah, he just takes different shapes. And I was just, I'm hoping that, who is it, Alexander Skarsgård? Or Stefan Skarsgård? Who's the guy from, who's Pennywise's older brother? Is it Alexander?
I thought they're not related.
Yeah, they are.
I thought they weren't related.
Yeah, the Skarsgårds?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all, that's their dad. Stellan's their dad.
Oh, okay. I thought that one, I don't know, whatever.
So the
those
other guy,
Skarsgårds are confusing.
he was in True Blood. He's going to be Randall Flagg, and that's, I'm interested to see what he does, because Randall Flagg is such a fucking awesome fucking character. The walking dude. Fucking dope. And, I was disappointed with McConaughey, man.
It didn't help that he had 2 buttons down and
He got to show the taco meat, man. That's what it is. Got to show the taco meat.
See, like, you should switch costumes with Black Lightning, then it'd be fine.
That would have been something.
All right, cool. So Castle Rock and the soundtrack to Watchmen.
Soundtrack for Watchmen.
Yeah, pretty good,
right.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Francisco, what you got this week?
All right, so I don't know like how many people out there are a fan of watching terrible movies, but if you are, Surf Nazis Must Die.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Surf Nazis Must Die. It's worth a rewatch. My family and I got together and rewatched it for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving movie.
Oh my god. Like what a ride.
That was what, 80, early 80s?
80s.
I want to say 84.
Yeah.
It can't be later than 80s. There's
87.
no way.
87,
Yeah.
okay.
1987.
Wow. That's
Just
good. That was a good year for movies.
a fucking masterpiece of shit.
Was that a Trauma?
Yeah,
It was
Trauma.
Trauma, man. I love Trauma.
So imagine, you're in a beach town and you got a pretty bad Nazi problem. Well, what do you do with it?
Good thing we got rid of those Nazis and
What you
never
do?
be seen again.
You go into the fucking ocean and you do surfboard battles with them.
Yeah.
Attach a knife to your top of your surfboard and just fucking go to town on those Nazis. And holy shit, watch it if you haven't.
Wow.
Definitely worth it.
That was definitely one of those Sci-Fi Channel movies, late night sci-fi. Who works on those Trauma movies? Had like some great people like work on those movies. Anybody like interesting like
on that one?
Yeah, because they're like when
No,
James Gunn came from Trauma. Like there's a couple cats that came out of Trauma.
I'm looking at all the names right here.
Anybody that stands out? Because you look at some of those old Trauma movies, you can see some people that actually turned out to
there's been a lot of people who came from Trauma.
There's like film school for weirdos.
Unfortunately, on Surf Nazis Must Die, I don't think anybody popped out.
Nobody stands out.
Not one.
Well, I mean, we can't be surprised. We can't be surprised by that.
As much as I love Trauma, it's God, man, it's like you said, it's bad movie making at its best.
It's like eating like 3 bags of Cheeto Puffs that have been stale for like 6 weeks.
The powder's still good.
It's still tasty. It's even worse for you than regular Cheetos, but it's like good enough, you know? It's just yeah.
Pretty sweet. So is that anything else on your pull list this week?
Well, the other thing I have is for the second segment.
So you're hidden gem for the
hidden gem.
Hidden gem. All right, so let's see what I got. I got a couple things this week. First of all, I wanted to shout out Daniel at Super 7. He hooked me up with this sweet little orca right here.
Orco.
Yeah, so a friend of the show now. We added another member to our squad.
Right on.
And also picked us up at Mission Comics, Legionnaire Ring. We'll see. We'll see what out later. So it's you pick up Legion of Superheroes, but the new Bendis Legion of Superheroes. You get a flight ring. So I thought it was pretty cool. I like Legion is a very complicated, convoluted superhero story, and every couple of years people try to redo it and like try to condense it and try to make it make sense. So Bendis is the latest one to tackle the Legion of Superheroes. It's pretty much the DC universe, the future of the DC universe in the 30th century. They started off in Superboy comics and like in the 50s, and like it's just a ragtag group of superheroes from the future. It's very some of the stuff is really good, like the Dark Side saga. Came out like in early 80s, mid 80s. It's a good. That's probably one of the better Legion storylines. So yeah, Legion Flight Ring. Thanks Leaf at Mission Comics, and thanks Daniel at Super 7. So there he goes. Those are those things. Also picked up at Amazing Fantasy this week is part 2 of Tom Scully's Fantastic Four Grand Design. I talked about the last issue, the first issue. Read it. It's like damn near a trade paperback. It's so dense. It's he packs up. Basically, he's doing the Lee Kirby run of Fantastic Four. He's basically retelling that whole story, and there's like 16 panel grids. It's like it's super dense.
Wow.
It's like retelling the Fantastic Four origin. Kind of just all the.
He just readjusted the frames.
No, he's just retelling. He's just telling the story, retelling the story through his art style and such.
Wow.
So yeah, he's a big Jack Kirby mark. So he's kind of channeling Jack Kirby.
It's pretty thick.
Yeah, it's basically a trade paperback worth of books in one book. It condenses all that stuff into a nice condensed story. Part 1 was really good. I haven't tackled this one yet because it's quite an undertaking. But he uses his space really well. He's a great cartoonist. He's part of the Cartoonist Kayfabe, one of the inspirations for our channel. So he's definitely check him out. Jim Rugg, the other guy on that channel, did the variant cover for this one. Ed Piskor did the first variant. So it's a pretty good so far. I think they're gonna have a collection of this next month in December or January, putting the 2 books together. It's definitely a must-have if you're a Fantastic Four fan, or if you're not a Fantastic Four fan, you want to learn about the Fantastic Four, this is a great starting point. So if you want to get into Fantastic Four, I recommend this stuff right here. Let's see, what else comic book-wise I picked up. She Could Fly, sorry. This is Christopher Cantwell, who's doing the new Doctor Doom series. So I really enjoyed his writing on that Doctor Doom series, so I had to look up what else he's done, and this is the book he's done. I have not read it yet, but I picked it up a couple weeks ago. The art looks really good. It looks like a kind of weird, kind of crazy kind of story. I really like his dialogue, so I'm really looking forward to checking this out. She Could Fly. Christopher Cantwell and Martin Morazzo. Morgan, so it does the art. The art looks really good, so I'm going to check that out. I'll let you know after I read it how it is. Also, I picked up this Hammer Horror Collection, 8 movies at Amoeba. It's got the Brides of Frankenstein, Curse of the Werewolf, Night Creatures, Phantom of the Opera, Paranoiac, Kiss of the Vampire, Nightmare, Evil, and Frankenstein. Hammer movies, if you don't know, were kind of the late 50s, 60s, 70s, kind of like this British version of like the Universal Monsters. Very kind of low budget, but they had some great actors. He had Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, like all these guys came from out of these movies, and really great, just really schlocky, very just kind of cheesy and like really great old school 40s, 50s, 60s horror movies. So it's a great 8-movie collection right here. I can't wait to dive deep on this. There's some great movies if you haven't seen them. Check out the Dracula. Like Peter Cushing plays Van Helsing in a lot of the movies, and Christopher Lee plays Dracula. The greatest Dracula, I think, of all time.
He's a scary Dracula.
He's a badass. So
badass.
I like how Lucas and all those guys uses all these guys at all these. You can tell they're big Hammer horror fans because all these guys show up in the Star Wars and such. So if you like old school horror movies, Hammer horror movies, these are great. Just kind of the anti-Universal monsters. It's some great flicks if you get a chance to check them out, and you can find them pretty cheap. Certain spots, like this 8 films for like $30 at Amoeba, but you can find these collections. There's a lot of like box sets, DVDs, and stuff. So check them out if you haven't already. So that's my pulls for this week. So let's see, Francisco, what's your hidden gem?
All right.
Hold on. A hidden gem for it's a guest show and tell. It's pretty much something that's personal to you, something you love. So every week, pick something out from your life you want to share with the group. So Francisco, go ahead.
So I woke up and immediately got an Uber and came over here, so I forgot to bring the comic with me. But it's called Punk Rock Jesus. If you've never read it, it's by Vertigo, created by Sean Murphy.
Okay, I think I've seen that before. Yeah.
And so definitely when I was like. It came out in like 2012, so I'm just like nerd 18-year-old or just about to turn 18, like into the punk scene, but also like a huge fucking dork. And so like seeing this, I immediately hop on it, and I've read it over multiple times. I'm a big fan of the comic. The concept is that. A massive Christian corporation decides to clone a version of Jesus Christ from a sample of his DNA, and that clone gets introduced to the music of punk rock because of their assassin bodyguard, and
sounds amazing.
Immediately,
really,
just like
it looks amazing.
I mean, the artwork is
Sean
fantastic.
Murphy, that's the guy. What am I saying? What did he do? Did he do like 30 Days a Night? What was it?
I think. I don't have that off the top of my head, but I mean the style, the use of space, the paneling, the writing in it, everything is just inherently interesting, and it's just a great read. Absolutely, definitely worth checking out. Yeah,
Punk Rock Jesus. Mm-hmm. That I'm looking at some of the artwork on this.
Yeah, the name's a little on the nose, but
it tells you all you need to know.
Right, it's pretty much in the name, but it's still a great read.
He's done Hellblazer.
Hellblazer.
Yeah, he did Batman, Curse of the White Knight, Batman Scarecrow Year One. Joe the Barbarian, was that the one that you brought the other day? No.
Me?
Yeah.
No, that was I brought Headlopper.
Headlopper, that was the one. Yeah.
Oh,
I like Cindy.
Ghost.
I like Cindy.
Tokyo Ghost.
Cindy Headlopper.
Yeah.
I have Tokyo Ghost. Yeah, that's the Anthony Bourdain. No. Oh, Tokyo Ghost. Yeah. I'm thinking of something else.
Tokyo Sushi one.
Yeah, no. He did Anthony Bourdain did a book, a couple comics. What the hell is it called?
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, I'm serious.
He did.
It's over there.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Kind of is like food related, and like some like ancient like Japanese food like chefs. It's kooky, it's crazy, and like kind of how
Ancient
Bourdain was.
Japanese secrets, huh?
Yeah, so pretty much that's pretty. Rick.
Okay. All right.
What do you got, Rick?
I got two things.
You actually brought something. What?
Just two things. Yes. Well, this is the first one. Ray got me this one here. That's Tom Savini. Master of makeup and art. This guy and effects. So you can see all four things right there. It's you got two from Creepshow. I believe the one in the bottom left corner, I want to say is Friday the 13th Part 1 or 2.
I think that's 2. I think
it's 2, and then the other one, of course,
Dawn
is
of the Dead.
Jason. Which one? Dawn of the Dead.
Isn't that Dawn of the Dead?
Is that Dawn of the Dead?
I think it's Dawn.
I could have sworn that was Friday the 13th.
No, you may be right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Tom Savini. And like
Signed.
Ben says, got it signed for me.
Woo!
Which is awesome. Tom Savini is a legend in when it comes to makeup and special effects, and I couldn't have been more floored by that particular piece that's added to my collection. Thank you, Ray. I remember that one.
Yeah.
And this one too. I shouldn't have brought this because I'm gonna get jokes for this one. That one there. Let me see if I can get it without too much of the glare. You got that?
Yeah,
right
it's casual horror characters. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Goodfellas version of Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger, which is pretty dope because if you look on the light above it for the pool hall, I don't know if you can see it really good there, but it's actually the design for the puzzle box from Hellraiser.
Yeah, that's cool.
So little things like that, just that shit like this makes my day. And when they found it, they thought of me. Thank you very much.
Well, that's because Rick had that haircut for a minute.
Which the Michael Myers one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was called Michael Myers. From that one.
Thanks, Hondo, for that one.
Yeah, so that's why I grew it out.
Where'd you get this one? Where'd you get this?
I got this from you guys.
I think you
guys went to like
Alex is the one that got you that one.
I think they went to like what was that?
I think it was just a San Jose con. I think.
Yeah. He found that there, and thanks a lot, Hondo, for that one. That was just an amazing.
That picture is so Rick right there. That's so Rick. That's Rick.
Yeah, this is all me right here.
That's Rick's squad goals right there.
Yeah, squad goals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That's a good one.
No, I like that Mike is smoking a cigar. Right? Yeah. He has a big ass ring.
He's gonna clock somebody. He's like the Robert De Niro of the group right there.
He won't kill you, but he'll fuck you up.
Freddy will kill you and then he'll talk shit.
Right.
All right, some good hidden gems. All right, so mine for this week is this volume of Batman the Cape Crusader, particularly the storyline in here that's Batman Year 3. So famously, Batman Year 1, written by Frank Miller, and Batman Year 2 had I forgot who wrote it, but McFarlane and Alan Davis did that run. Year 2 wasn't that great. The art was really good. This storyline in Year 3 kind of deals with Robin, like the origin of Robin, and this is like one of the first like storylines I ever read when I was a kid and was intrigued by there's like all this backstory for like Robin and all this stuff. So this came out I think in '89. So like one of the first comics I ever really got into like storylines. So this I like picked this up. It's a great seeing the origin of Robin and kind of tied to like current continuity where Robin becomes Nightwing, and the guy who killed his parents, Tony Zuko, is getting out of prison. So they're flashing back to kind of telling Robin's origin while dealing with the fact that the person that killed his parents is coming out of prison. It's very interesting, very heartfelt storyline. Right here is
that's the Year 3 storyline.
That's the Year 3. This is the first comic I ever picked up at a comic shop. This comic right here. So Batman. Was that Batman 437? So it's one of the it really sticks with me as one of the probably one of the most influential books I've ever had in my life because it inspired me to collect more and like kind of look at this backstory. Written by Marv Wolfman, nice. Art by Pat Broderick. That I recently got a scale here since it's so close. I'll get Pat Broderick was at a con last year, this year I believe, and that's a Robin sketch because I had to have him do a nice little Robin sketch for me. That's so super cool. Yeah, Pat Broderick, kind of an underrated artist. You don't really see him too often show up at places, but he's a great artist. It's a simple story. It's not super, it's not life changing. It's not really talked about much as a comic book storyline. But it's definitely, just one of the storylines that I, stuck with me for years. And I've always waited for the collection of it. It's never been. I have the issues, but I like having stuff in collection because I can always grab it and read it whenever I want. This year they finally released it in trade paperback form. Part of this Cape Crusader Volume 2. So it's there's some other great stories in there too. They have the John Byrne did a 3-issue Batman, The Many Deaths of the Batman. That's like another one of the early issues I remember picking up. He's John Byrne's kind of an underrated writer. He doesn't do the art, but he directs the story. There's also a silent issue in here too where there's no dialogue. There was kind of a trend in like the late 80s to do like silent issues. Like G.I. Joe famously did a Snake Eyes one. Like, just really telling the story through the visuals. So it's definitely one of the better ones. But yeah, great collection. If you ever you want to read some cool, decent late '80s Batman stuff, which I've kind of been going back and rereading, like some great Batman storylines, some great stuff. So if you get a chance, pick that up. Batman Year 3's in this, one of my very influential in my comic book collecting life. So that's definitely one of the better storylines. Pick it up for sure. So yeah, that's my hidden gem for the week.
Year 2 by Mike Barr.
Michael Barr. Yeah. So yeah, it's okay. The arts, the McFarlane and Neil and Alan Davis art is really what saves that series. And Frank Miller's Year 1 is amazing. Yeah, this is before he went batshit crazy.
If I may, I noticed you had another.
Oh, that's right.
Please.
Oh.
Because I only bring it up because I fucking love this movie.
Great,
Like,
right?
So another thing I
oh
picked
my
up this
God.
week.
Oh my God.
Near and dear to my heart.
Hell Comes to Frogtown, starring
So sick!
the late great Rowdy Piper.
Rowdy.
I don't think I've seen this movie in probably like 30 years, and I saw this at movie also. So yeah, this might be watched tonight because I have not seen it in a long time.
Fucking bananas.
This is 87.
Oh shit. That one is 1988.
88,
Yeah.
88, 87 had some good. So yeah, I remember seeing. I think last time I saw this was like on the Sci-Fi Channel when they showed all the schlocky movies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks amazing. I can't wait to deep dive in it. The cover's amazing. Look at it, Roddy. Look at Roddy. Roddy, they underused Roddy Piper, man. He should have been in way more movies, man.
He should have been that late 80s action star alongside Arnold.
Yeah, he was so great, man. Like, I don't know if it was he was dealing with drugs and dealing with issues, but
I think it was just that he was pretty much he was a wrestler. That was his first thing that he wanted to do. He wanted to be a wrestler, and an actor was something he was like wanting to do onto the side. But it's like that was your side work at the same time. Sure. It was being an actor. Not
he just had such natural charisma and
that guy's
so
awesome.
Yeah,
Right. Oh, very.
Yeah. So
very
yeah, if he definitely underrated. Yeah, definitely underrated. Yeah, it's man. Can't wait to watch it now. So yeah, all right, that's our hidden gems. That was some good discussion this week. It was pretty good. So give some shout outs this week. Leaf at Mission Comics. I finally got to talk to him, and so he's coming into the SF Comic Book Company fold, and he's been checking out the episodes. I appreciate that. Daniel. Thank you, Leaf. Daniel at Super 7. I had a great discussion with him. He hooked it up with the Orco, of course. We might be filming some stuff there too. So it's we're getting a nice little. Once we have time, we can actually do all this stuff. So Daryl at Cards and Comics. Fantastic. The guys at Fantastic Comics in Berkeley. Lavish Seal, our buddy Leo helped hook us up with some shirts. Saliva Tribe, go check out their links for the music. Graham Gates, who did our music, is great. And also Frank at Amazing Fantasy. That's my weekly spot for going to, haven't been to a comic shop weekly for a long time. So Frank is a great guy, and I've been going back to weekly comic shopping. It's very nostalgic for me, so I haven't been doing that for 15 years. So I'm back in the fold. It's great. So just shout out all those guys. Everybody supporting the channel. So Rick, got any shout outs you want to give?
I just want to shout out everybody who's been watching the channel once again, and we didn't get a chance to really say this, but everybody, we hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and have a safe holidays throughout. And I don't really have many people to shout out. I can shout out you guys.
There you go.
Hey.
Hey.
All right.
Shout it out.
Cool, man. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Francisco, thanks for coming on again, man. Appreciate it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Francisco
Always a blast.
he's going to be one of our regulars for sure. So
Shit, don't damn. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
We'll
Like you, man.
we'll get you.
I like you.
Yeah, all right.
It's a bromance.
All right.
Oh my god.
Feels like Watchmen 2003 all over again. Cool. So
We're not eating beans though.
Rick's definitely a night owl for sure.
You know what that means.
Freaks come out at night. All right, cool. So look out for more videos, and thanks for watching again. And cool. Let's have a good day.
Bye.